everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of Hoops, Helmets, and Heels. This is Rachel the Dime Diva. Are you ready to talk some sports? So I'm actually in a hotel right now filming this episode because I am traveling for my parents' 40th anniversary trip. So happy anniversary to my parents, and thank you guys for the trip. I'm enjoying myself so far. So I'm dressed for dinner, getting ready to go after filming this video, but I had to make sure I brought you guys Hoops, Helmets, and Heels episode 3, which is about NBA bad boys. So the idea that I got for this episode was the intersection of music and sports and different athletes who are notorious, who are mentioned in music, who have been in the NBA. And then I'll tell you a little bit of their stories and then how it interacts with my love for music and sports, kind of at the crossroads there. So we're gonna go through 4 different players, 2 current NBA players, the young guys, and then 2 former NBA players who were more so of, the generation that I grew up watching playing basketball. So let's go. Okay, first we are going to talk about Ja Morant. So let me show you guys a pic of him. This is Ja. So he is a 25-year-old NBA player. He was drafted by the Memphis Grizzlies. He was the 2nd overall draft pick in 2019. So this is like his 6th NBA season. So Ja already in that time is a 2-time All-Star. He won Rookie of the Year in 2020. And the Rookie of the Year is actually where Ja's intersection with the hip hop world comes in. So the team that Ja plays for is the Memphis Grizzlies, and we know Memphis is known for having a lot of high-profile rappers who are big in the game. Glorilla is one of them right now. But in particular, in 2021, Ja's Rookie of the Year win was celebrated by a Memphis native, Moneybagg Yo. So Moneybagg, he had a hit single in 2021 called Rookie of the Year. And the song is a bop. It's a great song, and it has lots of quotable lyrics for people to put like in their Instagram captions, on their story, on their Twitter, whatever the case may be. So the song really went up in popularity. And so I'll show you Moneybagg Yo. And another notable thing about Moneybagg Yo for my life is that Moneybagg's wifey girlfriend is Ari the Dawn. And Ari is extremely famous on Instagram. She's like one of the original Instagram baddies, like an Instagram model. And we'll be talking a lot more about Instagram models with our next NBA bad boy, because he has a huge propensity for Instagram models. But Ari is like the prototype for IG models. She's a baddie, and so Moneybagg and her are kind of like a power couple in hip hop. So Ja has that link to the hip hop world. So Ja's bad boy credentials, they're undisputed, okay? So in 2022, it all began. A couple years into his NBA career, he started to get in trouble, and the trouble has continued. In 2022, Ja was named as a defendant in a lawsuit. So the plaintiff in that lawsuit accused Ja, who is the point guard, the NBA player, of punching a 17-year-old male during a pickup basketball game. Now, mind you, this is an NBA player. Okay, he's playing a 17-year-old, a high school kid, and they're getting into such an altercation during the game that Ja is getting into a physical fight with him. Like, it's giving hothead. It's indicating that Ja doesn't really know how to control his emotions at that time, allegedly. This is all alleged. This is all a lawsuit. So while Ja was not criminally charged in this case, Due to a lack of evidence, there was a civil lawsuit, which means that the person who he allegedly punched is suing him for monetary damages, like money for pain and suffering, any medical expenses, bills, etc. Later in 2022, a police report alleges that Ja and an entourage of 9 men got into a verbal altercation with the head of security at a local mall in his area. Allegedly, Ja's mom had been shopping at the shopping center, had got into a fight with a Finish Line shoe store employee, and then called her son and said, "Hey, I need you all to pull up and have my back." And pull up they did, okay? This is, again, alleged. So the head of security told the police that Ja's entourage threatened him. He felt like he wasn't safe, and this was all documented in a police report. Now in early 2023, Ja and this same entourage of men, this time including his dad, ended up getting into a beef with the Indiana Pacers. So the Pacers were playing in Memphis at their home arena, which is the Grizzlies Arena, and Ja's dad got into it with one of the Indiana players while he was sitting on the sidelines. Ja proceeded to get into it with that same player, I guess defending his dad, and then Ja's entourage began kind of signaling aggression towards the Pacers players. Eventually, after the game, Ja's crew allegedly pulled up in a truck on the Indiana Pacers bus. So they pulled up on the bus, got into their area, and allegedly pointed some type of red light laser at the bus. Now, those of us who are familiarized with firearms know that a red light laser could be a accompaniment to a pew 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 that they were going to potentially flash to be aggressive. We don't know what the actual result was here. The NBA did an investigation. They determined that there was not enough evidence to show that a pew 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 was used, and therefore there was no big repercussions for Ja or his crew. However, one of Ja's homeboys was further banned from entering the arena. Just a couple months later, in March 2023, the Glendale, Colorado Police Department investigated Ja for allegedly flashing a gun on Instagram Live. So this was inside of a strip club. So there was no charges filed for Ja due to a lack of evidence. However, the NBA did decide to take action. So after the gun flashing allegations, Ja was suspended for 8 games by the NBA. Now this is where Ja becomes a legendary bad boy. Because just a mere 2 months after that 8-game suspension, in May 2023, in a shocking turn of events, Ja allegedly flashed another gun. And this was after deactivating his IG. He flashed the gun allegedly on his friend's Instagram account. After this, the NBA expressed that they were shocked and dismayed by Ja's behavior, and they suspended him for 25 games. And he was required to fulfill a league-sponsored program addressing his wrongdoing. So here's hoping that Ja is able to get it together and stay out of trouble for the foreseeable future, and that any future rap lyrics about him are about his prowess on the court, how great he is, etc. So this next NBA player, current NBA player that we're going to talk about, is also notorious. His game is just as well known as his personal life. And the individual that we're discussing here is Anthony Davis. I'm sorry, Anthony Edwards. I'm sorry, Ant. Anthony Davis was on my mind because he just got traded from the Lakers. So, sorry, Ant. This is Anthony Edwards. Okay. Anthony Edwards is a 23-year-old NBA player. He was drafted number 1 overall by the Minnesota Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards is literally one of the NBA's best players. And I'm just going to call him Ant because that's his nickname. He's a rising star in the NBA. He would for sure be the next face of the NBA after LeBron if he could get his behavior together, if he could get this bad boy image under control. Ant is a 3-time All-Star. He's an Olympic champion. He's a super young guy, so I have a lot of hope that he can grow, mature over time, and eventually become the face of the NBA. Ant is really known for having explosive athleticism. He's a shooting guard, and so he's known for just being able to do really athletic endeavors. He's actually compared to Michael Jordan by some. I'm not going to put it out there that he's as good as Jordan or better, but some do compare him. And he is a great defender as well. And he actually says that he feels he's an underrated defender. Like, he doesn't get as much credit for as he should as a defender. So let's get to the bad boy image. And in that process, we'll also tie him into how he is connected to hip hop culture as well. So Ant has been fined multiple times by the NBA for inappropriate language. And this is language that he used in the locker room during interviews with the media, and also language that he's used on his own Instagram account. The NBA has an image to uphold, so they do monitor their players' personal lives, and they deem that to just be one of the things that goes along with the privilege of being in the NBA. Some feel like that's not fair, but at the same time, these men are getting paid millions of dollars to play a game, and so upholding the image of the league is part of their compensation, basically. Ant is also notorious for his seeming refusal to practice safe sex, unfortunately. He has allegedly impregnated at least the following women. Number 1, Instagram model Paige Jordan, who Ant claimed, who she claimed Ant paid her $100,000 to terminate the pregnancy. So for those of you who aren't sure what an Instagram model is, it's a woman who has usually tens of thousands, if not hundreds or millions of followers on Instagram, and they post in bikinis, they post in tight dresses, they post themselves twerking, they post themselves having fabulous vacations, and they are like, they're just a model, but they model through Instagram. And usually this is a woman that typically will have like a very hourglass body figure, maybe a BBL, a Brazilian butt lift, which is something where you transfer fat from other places in the body into the person's posterior, and it gives a very like large, voluptuous behind. Okay, so Ant clearly has a propensity for women who are IG baddies and IG models, and this is partially his problem, because a lot of them would like to get impregnated allegedly in order to get allegedly paid monthly child support. So this is just the reality for NBA players and athletes, and choosing not to pay attention to that means you're going to be paying out a lot of money. So after Paige Jordan, number 2, Ant did impregnate his girlfriend, Shannon, with whom he shares the 1-year-old baby named Aislinn, which is a beautiful name, and happy birthday to Aislinn. 3, Ant allegedly impregnated his ex-girlfriend, Instagram model Alex Desrochers. They have a son, 1-year-old, named Amir. Now, this is proven that Amir is Ant's child because he stated this in court documents. So this is not alleged, actually. And then number 4, he did have a baby. This is also proven by court documents with Instagram model Aisha Howard. And they have a 5-month-old named Aubrey Summers. And if you want to know more about Ant's history with baby mamas and IG models, I would suggest hopping onto YouTube and searching for Mariah Rose. That's Jalen Rose's daughter. She has a great Instagram called Hoops for Hotties. She also has a YouTube channel, and she did a really good 4-part breakdown of all of Anthony Edwards' baby moms and the history of his paternity scandals. So hop on over to her page for more details on this as well. So Aisha Howard. So let's look at Aisha, because this is his connection. This is Ant's connection to the hip hop world for the most part. Okay. So this is Aisha Howard in the pink. She's absolutely gorgeous, as all of his baby moms and alleged baby moms are. He has a beautiful, an eye for beautiful women. And the person that's next to Aisha is Lil Baby, the rapper. So this is really his connection to the hip hop world, because he shares a baby mama with one of Atlanta's hottest rappers, Lil Baby. And Lil Baby is actually personally my favorite rapper. I listen to Lil Baby every single day. A day is not complete for me unless I've listened to Lil Baby's music. He really blew up in 2020 around the pandemic, and he's put out multiple feature-length albums. He is featured on a ton of different songs. He's a really good feature artist. And I like him because he's a great storyteller. He's very clever. And he's the hustler mentality. And I'm a hustler mentality. So I feel like I resonate with what he's saying, because I'm like, yes, like, let's go get money, period. So, and I feel like he puts like good gossip and information in his songs, honestly. So yes, Anthony Edwards. And if you don't want to have more kids, I would suggest, doing something about this. But in the event that you choose to continue, then, God bless the moms and the babies, and I hope that you decide to be a present father to them. Okay, so let's move on to bad boy number 3, who is a recent former NBA player named Lance Stephenson. Okay, I will show you Lance so you know who we are referring to here. This is Lance Stephenson. He is a 34-year-old. He's a former NBA player. He hasn't officially retired from the NBA, but he hasn't played in an NBA game since 2022. But he's recently played in the G League, which is the NBA's development league. So kind of like the minor leagues for the NBA. And he's played professionally in Puerto Rico as well. Interesting info about Lance. He currently is training for a one-on-one basketball game with Michael Beasley, who is also a former NBA player, and they are playing for a $100,000 prize for the one-on-one game. So I can't wait to hear all the details about that when it happens, because it really has the NBA community abuzz. A lot of the former NBA players, especially the recent former NBA players, are talking about it. They're like proposing other matchups potentially and trying to see if they can get sponsors involved. So hopefully this is the first of a trend of a lot of like the 30s, the 30 to 35, 30 to 40 crowd of former NBA players to start doing one-on-one games. Because we've seen them in the Big 3 league, and that was great. So one-on-one would be super amazing, because when Pride is on the line, these guys are going to be playing super hard. So good luck to Lance in the game. I hope he wins. So Lance was notorious in his NBA heyday in the 2010s, in that kind of zone, particularly for his over-the-top behavior on the court. He was known as like a staunch defender, and a lot of times he would be put on LeBron James in games, especially in the playoffs, to like kind of bother him and shut him down as much as possible. You can't really shut down King James, but shut him down as much as possible. So one of the most infamous incidents with Lance Stevenson took place when he was guarding LeBron, and during the middle of the game, Lance Stevenson blew in LeBron's ear. He blew in LeBron's ear, and it became an instant meme throughout the internet. Everyone thought it was absolutely ridiculous and hilarious, and so he became really famous for that. And he has a connection to the hip-hop world because in 2014, Nicki Minaj had a hit song called Only with Lil Wayne, Drake, and Chris Brown. So talk about like a mega pop hit song. And in the song, she said, "Tell them bees," B word, "tell them bees blow me, Lance Stevenson." So she's talking about him blowing in LeBron's ear. So basically she name checked Lance Stevenson, which is a big deal for NBA players. Like, to get name checked on a hit song that millions of people are going to listen to. A lot of people that don't even know who Lance Stevenson is looked him up because Nicki Minaj name checked him. And the song Only was from one of Nicki's most iconic albums, which is the Pink Print. And so that's a little hip hop information for y'all. Now, Lance has a lot of other drama, okay? But it's not fun drama. It's not like light shade. It's like allegedly people actually got hurt, and it's disturbing potentially. So we're not going to talk about that on here. I'll let you Google that on your own if you want to know. And if any of that information is true, I hope Lance gets healing, and I hope the folks in his life get healing. Okay. Last but not least, my favorite NBA bad boy is Shannon Brown. And when you see a picture of Shannon, you're going to see why he's my favorite. Okay, here he is. Look at that face. That's a handsome man right there. Okay, so Shannon Brown, he's 39 years old. He played in the NBA from 2006 to 2018. He kind of bounced around from different teams and into the G League and back up to the NBA. And most notably, he played for the LA Lakers from 2009 to 2011. And he was there for 2 championships, which were the 2009 team and the 2010 team. He was known for super acrobatic dunks. He was in the dunk contest one year, and blocks as well, super acrobatic blocks. So I want to give a shout out actually to one of our Hoops, Helmets, and Heels OG day one viewers, who is Marcus Cook. So shout out to him. Shout out to his wife Spring, who is beautiful. Shout out to their 4 adorable and super intelligent sons. So Marcus reminded me when I put on my Instagram that I was going to be talking about these certain bad boys, that Shannon Brown had this iconic block in 2009. So the Lakers were playing the Hawks, and Mario West, who was a Hawks player at the time, had stolen the ball from the Lakers, taken it all the way down to the other side of the court, and Shannon completely just, boom, blocked the ball. And the best part of the play was listening to the Staples Center erupt. Now it's called Crypto Arena, but at the time, Staples Center erupt in applause. And then the faces of all of these Lakers, it was so nostalgic watching the clip again today, because it was Kobe, rest in peace. It was Lamar Odom, and we're so glad that he's alive and doing well. Pau Gasol, Luke Walton, Trevor Ariza. It was so nostalgic for those of us who were fans of those Lakers championship teams in 2009 and 2010. And I was actually at the Lakers parade. Like I shared with you guys, I went to the three-peat parades. I also went to the 2009 and 2010 parades. And it was so fun. One of the highlights, of each of those years. And I'm just a proud Laker fan. And another funny anecdote for me is that I was in Orlando at the Ritz-Carlton, and I ended up bumping into Luke Walton. And he was so friendly, so nice. And so I had a chance to sit down with him for a little bit and tell him about my experience as a Laker fan and like watching him play those seasons. And it was just a really amazing, refreshing experience. I got to take a picture with him. And so like for a LA girl and a Lakers fan at heart, thank you, Luke, for, just welcoming me and allowing me to share my Lakers memories. And so back to Shannon. In 2010, while he was with the Lakers, Shannon appeared in R&B singer Monica's Love All Over Me video. So this is Shannon's connection to the hip hop world. In the video, Monica starts off with a boyfriend who is played by the rapper Mano, and Mano ends up going to jail in the video. So he tells Monica, like, live your life, don't worry about me, go be free, right? And Monica's like, no, I don't want to, but okay, I'll move on. So later in the video, Monica and Shannon Brown get together. They're engaged. But then Mano comes back from jail. So they're having to choose, okay, am I gonna get with Shannon? Am I gonna get back with Mano? What do I do? And so I'll let you watch the video and find out what happens. But it was a great video, and all of us were like, ooh, that was a great choice to have Shannon Brown on the video. Like, this is such a cute song. All of us girlies in 2010 were so excited. Well, then the twist of all time for us is that Shannon and Monica ended up getting married that year. They actually got married in real life in 2010. And they share daughter Leia, who was born in 2013. Clearly, it was a whirlwind romance. Beautiful couple. Their daughter is absolutely gorgeous. And unfortunately, the marriage did not last, but it did produce that beautiful daughter. And so we know it was completely worth it. In terms of Shannon's bad boy story, this one is a little bit cringe-worthy. So on October 7th, 2021, Shannon Brown was indicted for insurance fraud in the Southern District of New York for defrauding the NBA's health and welfare benefit plan. He pled guilty and he got to avoid jail time, so we're happy for that. And he had to pay restitution of $320,000. So the tea behind this this healthcare insurance fraud, and this is again all court documented, so it's not alleged. This happened. What happened is that ex-NBA player Terrence Williams got started submitting fraudulent claims for dental and chiropractic work. There's a program with the NBA where players are reimbursed directly in cash if there is a procedure that's not covered by insurance. So they'll submit their receipts to the NBA. The NBA will reimburse them in cash. This is for current players and former players. In my opinion, it's only right that they should do this because the players are putting their body on the line every single day. So absolutely, they should have health care for life, 100%. Now, Terrence Williams began doing this scheme, and he and Keon Dooling, who is a former NBA player, a former NBA union rep, and a former assistant NBA coach, ended up recruiting other players to join the scheme. And that's how Shannon got caught up. And I believe that's why he didn't have to do jail time, because he was not really a head honcho of the scheme. So what happened is that they ended up having somebody tell on them. The scheme was revealed, And Terrence Williams got 10 years in prison for defrauding the league, because Terrence Williams had defrauded the league of millions, like $5 million. Crime doesn't pay. And it really does show, honestly, for me, that NBA players need to get more information about savings and more information about life after the game. They're so groomed and focused on just playing basketball that I don't think that they really see that even if you play until you're 40, you still have the rest of your life, and God willing, 50 plus years that you're not going to be playing basketball. So let's prepare you for that part. So I hope that Shannon is able to share with younger players, maybe come to some camps, maybe come to like some rookie training events and just share with folks like, hey, here's how you could avoid ending up in the situation that I did. And so that you can save money and not feel like you have less than when you finish your NBA career. Well, those are the 4 NBA bad boys. Thank you for taking that journey with me, and I will see you all next week.